We're back with the Politics Fix with Pulitzer Prize-winning Washington Post columnist Eugene Robinson, who's an MSNBC political analyst, and Melinda Henenberger of thepoliticsdaily.com. Thank you both. You run that place, don't you?
I do.
Yes, you do. Let me ask you this. Let me start with you, from South Carolina.
From
Gamecock.
South Carolina.
It seems to me that the one charge that cannot be believed here is that this is a political stunt. You look into the eyes of Jim Clyburn and even Steny Hoyer, who obviously is trying to be a leader here, and I think doing a fine job, by the way. This isn't a stunt.
No, I actually saw Jim Clyburn last night and chatted with him, and he's dead serious about this. I mean, he believes this was not just a breach of protocol, but a real insult, and he's conscious not only of the politics of it, but of the traditions of the House. And he's dead serious.
Do you think he smacks of the old days here?
Who, Joe Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Do you think so?
That's my opinion.
He's got the old white-black attitude of the South.
Well, he's, he has a history.
Let's call it the old one. He has a history that's kind of New South, Old South, and was he
in the sense that he has.
Is he a Confederate flag guy?
He basically, I mean, he has been said very nice things about diehard Confederate flag advocates, including one who is the state's leading diehard segregationist to this day. So, and he hasn't taken those positions, but he has, he hasn't renounced that era of South Carolina politics to the extent.
Melinda, I watched the floor, and I didn't see politics in Jim Clyburn's eyes. I saw history, a man who's been through the civil rights fight and smelled the bad stuff.
Right. How can
By the way, when I saw it, watching the floor that night, I was stunned.
Right.
I have never heard anybody yell out to the president. There is a hush in that chamber. When Reagan came back from being shot, and all the other nights I've been there, it's a hush. It's a religious experience to be there when the president speaks. And for somebody to speak back to the president like he was his equal in that setting is beyond, well, it's beyond the rules.
Like he was yelling at a kid. I mean, I felt like Nancy Pelosi looked, and I just thought, this is truly an outrage. So I completely understand where these people who want to censure him are coming from. If it's a stunt, I'm not sure it's a wise stunt. That's why I don't think it's political at all, because the political thing to do would be to take the cue from the president and just keep walking. But I really can understand very much that they feel it's an outrage that can't go unchecked.
Let's take a look at a video. I'm not sure I respect this, but let's take a look at this. Here's something being Twittered by Joe Wilson, the man who was rebuked today.
We're now awaiting, there's a Democratic conference on what actions they're going to take against me. I'm very grateful that actually today it was reported several Democrats feel like correctly that we should be discussing health insurance reform and not playing politics. The president said, do not play politics. Obviously what's going on is playing politics. But I'm so grateful for your support. It's been overwhelming across the nation. Thank you. God bless you.
I do understand. I think this guy's playing. Talking about stunts, I think that was a stunt.
Well,
I think this guy knows what he's doing. He's playing Johnny Reb here. He thinks it's a good cause. He's fighting for the cause. I think it's a totally deliberate act of insolence and contempt for the President of the United States. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. And all this game he's been doing, all he had to do if it was an accident was come to the floor of the House, to the well, which they all do. I've been there at nights when they've had a few drinks and have said things they shouldn't have said. They come right back to the well and said, I wish I hadn't said that. I apologize. It's over in a second.
Well,
exactly. He wouldn't do it because he sees glory in this.
Exactly. I certainly am with you.
The wrong kind of glory.
From the point where he said, I'm not going to apologize again. I'm not going to apologize again. I'm not going to go to the well. I think from that point, certainly, if not from the very beginning, it was political. One thing Jim Clyburn pointed out to me, reminded me of last night, is that the real sin is the idea of accusing the president of mendacity, saying you lied. They don't accuse each other of lying.
Well, there's a rule against the House. You can't be ad hominem, believe it or not. I worked there for years.
No, there is a rule.
You can't say the other guy's no good. You can say I disagree with you.
Exactly. That is completely out of bounds. Even in the House of Commons in London, that's out of bounds and gets you an immediate rebuke from the Speaker, and you apologize.
This is one time I'm taking a stand. I think Jim Clyburn, whoever else is in there, I think Steny Hoyer gave a beautiful presentation today, by the way. He was his finest hour today, Steny Hoyer, as a leader of that caucus. And I think these members, maybe not just the African-American members, smelled something here that smacked of the old days. And as Maureen Dowd said in the New York Times, she sort of heard the word almost subaudibly, the word we don't like. We'll be right back.
Silence implies consent.
And I think contempt is something you should never show for the other side in a debate. Respectful argument. Take down their argument. Well, we do it here. We'll be right back with Eugene Robinson, Melinda Henneberger for more of the Politics Fix. We're back with Eugene Robinson and Melinda Henneberger with more of the Politics Fix.